Hey, good morning. Weekend's almost upon us. Today, the nursery's going to get its own heating source. Much better than one of those tiny little heaters. I've been using those pound propane bottles. It's getting very expensive. So we've designed a heating system for about a 100 square foot house. The nursery is about 10 foot by 12 or something like that. So it should be just perfect. Now I found something really awesome. I got this at Ace Hardware, by the way. I have not been able to find one of these charts anywhere. It's really nice. What is your desired temperature increase for the square foot heated? And how much BTUs it will take to do so. It has, the other day in the nursery, I have my gaming stuff set up there. So my family will be playing games together. I'll be in the nursery, Bianca will be in the main cabin. My mom's in California, my brother's in Kansas. And so the other night when we were all playing together, it was like 20 degrees in the nursery and my hands were getting so numb. And it was about time to move on. So 20 degrees plus 10 is still below freezing. So 20 degrees, 20, still 40, that's really cold. 20 plus 30 is 50, it's starting to get okay. Your breath probably stops being seen about 45 degrees. 150 square feet. Okay, so I have a 150 square foot room. I need it to rise 30 degrees. I need 5,000 BTU heater. The heater that's in this box is 10,000 BTUs. So it is between these two bars. They don't have it here. But it's basically saying you can probably heat a 300 square foot room with 10,000 BTUs, raising it 30 degrees at least. So here we go. This heater, if you want to know the model number, is MG10HBF. It's a blue style heater. It's also vent free. Now, we had a problem in the main cabin with a lot of moisture dripping because we had another propane heater without venting. Now, if I had the nursery completely sealed and everything, I would not be using a vent-free heater because I would just have water dripping everywhere. However, as it stands, that nursery's really loose and there's lots of air coming in, gaps and stuff like that, so not really worried about it. Alright, so here it is, Procom heating. It pretty much looks like that Blue Flame stuff that we have. Apparently Blue Flame is much better at heating the room and heating the air than the old infrared heaters. The infrared heaters, they hit the objects and then that heats up the room. It's also a lot more dangerous because the infrared heater, well, heats the objects. And so now you need a lot more clearance from the front of it where the flame would occur to anything, right? But because it's a Blue Flame, which is a different type of heating system, it just mainly heats the air, so it has way closer clearances. Also, this one doesn't require any electricity, just has what's called a piezoelectric start here, vent free, which is actually bad. Saying it's really cheap and 99.9% efficient burner, that's the Blue Flame stuff. Also has an ODS sensor, which is oxygen depletion sensor, because, combustible flames require oxygen to operate, and if you have a very tightly sealed room and you have a flame inside, you will quickly run out of air and die. So, it's good they have that, I guess. And yeah, here we go. Let me grab the other pieces and we'll get rolling. Alright, well, instruction set, some mountain hardware. This guide should only be used by a qualified gas technician. Well, guess that's me. Alright. Blah, blah, blah. Don't blow yourself up. Yeah. Okay, so someone asked a while ago on our stove video exactly what we use. I've still been trying to go back and get all the data, but it's a little difficult. Didn't track all the information, so I'm going to try to show every item this time to make sure everything's good to go. Now, make sure you get a valve that's specifically for gas. We had a yellow one from Lowe's on the house that's for gas, but all the yellow ones at Ace Hardware were not gas, so it's kind of weird. Color coding needs to be standardized. Lots of fittings. Okay, so what's the cost of all this stuff? This heater's price was $160. Found it on Ace Hardware's site for $99. They weren't going to price match it in the store, but then I just basically ordered it on the website. Said pick up from the store I was standing in. Grabbed it off the wall, walked out the store. With their blessing, of course. Now, got it for $100 for the heater. The piping itself was like $60, which is really pricey, but gotta bite the bullet and do it anyway. The hardest thing about this was the initial cost, okay? Because I have the heating capability in my nursery currently. It's just really inefficient. And so I'm in one of those situations where I'm stuck financially buying little gas heaters, containers, and running that tiny heater I got in the nursery. And any sort of change will cost money, right? And so it's really easy to get stuck in that system. So what you got to do is bite the bullet, map out exactly how you're going to change and get out of that current rut, and go do it. So that's what we're at. This hose. Bianca's crafting supplies. Okay, and this hose thingy. Wow, could it be any more difficult to get a hose out of a bag? There we go. Now, here is the complete set of hardware that we will be using. We have a liquid propane regulator that goes basically on the tank, which is going to be sitting outside the nursery. Okay, so outside the nursery there will be a 5-gallon propane tank or 20-pound tank, the kind for barbecues. It'll then be connected to the tank with this. Sorry, jeez. Can you tell I don't practice my videos? This connects to the propane thread. This then threads into the regulator. Arrow this way for gas flow. After this, we have to go inside the wall, okay? If you really, really wanted to, you could straight grab this hose, bypass everything else, connect this to your propane tank, drill a hole in the wall, roll this right up to your plants, and you're done for $20. Don't do that way. This is $20, this is $20. $40 just for these two pieces. The rest of it's like dollars, you know? This is $10 here for an 18-inch 3/8 gas line connector. So what we do is, this is inside the house. Once you penetrate through a structure, you need to transition over to rigid pipe. It is code, and it also just makes sense. Why I suggest not just doing a $20 version is because, well, you trip on it, anything gets messed with, this could bust, pull out, then you're left with just propane spewing all over the place. It's a very dangerous situation, especially since you are dealing with the heater, which is a source of ignition or explosion, right? So, now that you know that, we're right at the wall, right? We have a regulator coming off a propane tank with this little hose. We then need to adapt this to rigid pipe. And this is where I should have had it all set up before I started the video, but give me a second. Alright, here we go. So before we go over how everything connects together, I'm just going to go over the hardware list real quick. This is called an RV adapter. It's 3/8 male, standard 3/8 female. We have a 3/8 nipple brass, male. 3/8 flare by 3/8 male iron pipe. This is the flare side, this is the iron pipe side. A 1/2-inch shut-off valve for gas or propane. And then a hex bushing 1/2-inch male iron pipe by 3/8 female iron pipe. This is the 1/2-inch male, that's the 1/2-inch female on the inside here, threaded. A 1/2-inch elbow black pipe or iron pipe. A 1/2-inch by 18-inch section of black pipe. the shortest nipple ever. It's a 1/2 inch by 2 inch nipple. 2 more 90-degree elbows, and it looks like a 4 inch nipple? No, 3 inch nipple. A 3/8 gas line connector. Why mess around when the tech's 20 feet away, right? Alright, so now they figured out exactly how all this stuff goes together. Let's go ahead and break it down. We have the hose going from the propane tank, has a male compression 3/8 fitting head. This RV adapter right here goes onto the end of it like this. Once that's threaded on this hose, it threads in to the inlet side of the regulator. After the arrow on the outside of the regulator, we have a standard 3/8 short brass nipple. That threads in to the out regulator, and we adapt to iron pipe with this fitting here. This is a female 3/8 iron pipe, which is right here, with 1/2 inch male iron pipe on the other side. If they had increasing nipples, I wouldn't have to get this piece, but I haven't seen any. Then, we're done with those pieces, and we're gonna elbow up underneath the building. This will then be the sill plate, or the floor plates, where the joists come up next to. This will go through the floor, up alongside a joist. Then we have another elbow, a short nipple, and another elbow. This allows us to anchor to the wall and make it secure. This right here allows us to go outside the wall on the drywall or what have you, and have this inside the room. Now, we then need to adapt this to the appliance, or this heater itself here. If we look on the inside flap, it's one of the only things I've ever seen in my life that has instructions that are good. So, it tells us right here that we need metal regulator cap when you're changing from this to that. It gives us some basic dimensions and everything. So we referenced this and got pretty much the sizing we need, okay? And then we check the fitting on the bottom of it to make sure it actually works. Blues for liquid propane. We take this off, but leave this other one in. It's called a plunger. Then, this is the very last connection we're going to put on the end of that fancy yellow hose. So we just thread it in here and make sure everything is good. I've already done the work to make sure that it is perfect fit, and it is. So, we verify that this is the last point, and it will be good. So now that we're through the wall, and we have an elbow coming off, we need to put a shutoff valve. There's one shutoff valve on the propane tank itself, and then there's another shutoff, I would consider an emergency shutoff valve, right by the wall. It's a 1/2 inch shutoff valve for gas, and to adapt from the iron pipe to this, we're just going to get what's called a nipple, which is a male-male 1/2 inch fitting. Then, it threads in just like this. Alright, so we now have it coming up through the floor. We're then at a joist, coming through the wall where my hand is, and then we're elbowing to kind of where the corner of where the heater would be. Now, we have, after the elbow, another nipple, 1/2 inch iron pipe, going to the 1/2-inch shutoff. Then on the 1/2-inch shutoff, it actually came with it, the appliance hookup, okay? So now we're using this yellow flexible line, which was $12 for an 18-inch, thank you, Wind, for an 18-inch version of it, 3/8 gas line. It came with an adapter, which is flare fit on one side here, male, and a larger 1/2-inch iron pipe right here. Then we go here, and this would be the connection point to the appliance, but you see it's a giant adapter. That's because it came with one to make sure you use the right flare fitting, but they expect you to have a larger pipe size the whole way. So this is going in the extras bucket for when I need to do something in the future, and we purchased this here, which was the 3/8 flare, 3/8 male iron pipe, which is exactly what this connection is. So we put the flare in on this side, like that, thread it in, and then that's that. This connection right here then goes into the appliance, and that will be that. Also, we're going to goop all the non-flare fitted connections with anti-gas goop, or whatever you want to call it, to make sure that the propane doesn't leak out through the threads. That's pretty much that for the connection. I know it's kind of crazy looking right now, but it'll make a lot more sense when we install it soon. 2-inch clearance minimum from the ground. Seems really close to me. I'm just going to jack it up to 6 or whatever. Safety first. 3 feet from the left side of it, from any combustible material. I have a giant metal cabinet piece of equipment there, so that won't catch on fire. So it's going to be nice and easy to install. Now it's time to go over to the nursery, grab a propane tank, and kind of get placement figured out. Okay, so I also need a drill and a spade bit or a drill bit of some sort to come up through the sill plate so the pipe can pass through the floor. And I think that's going to be the only power tool I use. Oh yeah, also pipe dope or pipe goop for gas line. Pipe dope. This is what it looks like.
One of them. We have a blue one too that I don't like.
This is your favorite?
One of them, yeah.
Okay. Alright, on to the next. Here's nursery. That's north, west. Now, here's a propane tank. This is where I'm going to have it coming in. This is pretty much the far corner of it. The door's right here. The door does swing in this way. I'm going to take everything off the door. Make sure to never leave the door open. Not like I would anyways with the heater going. And so what I'm going to do is from the inside, I'm going to go in, drill a hole down through the sill plate. And then you'll see a piece of black pipe coming there with an elbow pointing this way. And then we'll hook up the rest. So let's talk fuel costs for a second. Why is it even worth spending the money to do this, right? I have a heater. Works alright. Mr. Heater, little buddy. 3,800 BTUs per hour. Uses these small 1-pound canisters of propane from Walmart or wherever. I sourced them for 2 for $6.50. If I were to compare how long I run this for or how much volume of gas I get versus that container right there, we'd find a huge savings. So, for 20 pounds of fuel, that would run me $65. 2 of these for $6.50, 1 pound per container. If I fill that, it's $12.50 for the exact same volume of combustible material that I need to run the heater. Within like 3 or 4, I think, refills of that container, this whole system upgrade will pay for itself. After referencing the new heater's diagram, which told us how much square feet we need to heat 30 degrees and how many BTUs we need, we find that this 3,800 BTUs falls short, which I could have told you from experience, right? Got cold even though the heater was running at night. So, that's the fuel difference. It's really an incredible difference in cost. It's almost 600% more expensive to run this way. On top of that, you're using an infrared heater, which are dangerous to run and not as efficient as the blue flame. So, This also was $65 for this little thing, believe it or not. So for $35 more, I was able to get the giant one I'm putting in that's 10,000 BTUs, which is nearly 3 times the heat output of this. Blue flame, it's safer. And within a few times of me refilling the fuel, which I'll have to do anyways, it will have completely paid for itself. Not bad. That's the kind of projects I like doing. Alright, so we're inside the nursery here. This is the south-facing window. This is the corner wall where everything's going to be. So basically we have a sill plate behind all this stuff here. This is a sill plate right here, okay? This is what all the joists are built on. You can see that there. I'm going to be drilling a hole right here somewhere. The black pipe's going to be coming up through here. Sorry, hole's going to be like right here. Black pipe comes up through here. I install a clamp to brace the iron pipe, and then we have the elbow coming off. And the flexi line will connect to the bottom of the heater, which I'll have here somewhere. That's the plan. Alright, now I need to select the correct size bit for the outside pipe. I have these other holes here to test. It's a 1/2 inch pipe, but that refers to the thread size, not the outside diameter of the pipe. So 7/8 hole. Looks nice. Slides right through. This is inch. A little sloppy. I'd have to get a lot of silicone or sealant to do that. So I think 7/8 is going to be a nice fit. I can just do a nice bead of silicone right around there. Alright, well, got all this stuff cleaned out of the corner so I can actually work. Looks like this is the mounting bracket for the heater, so I am going to need some form of cross brace, which is not a big deal, to install this here. And then just kind of marking where we're going to need to drill. It's going to be drilled right close to this. Here we go. Just kidding. Tech said it has to be coming up through here on this side. Or do you mean on this side of this one?
Yes, right there where you're pointing.
Right here. It's coming out right here. Alright, so while this isn't perfectly ideal, you can see that the foam's kind of getting in the way. I'm having to put it really close to the edge. This foam piece is so tight in there I can't even get it to move at all. I'd have to sit here cutting with a knife. Not really worth it for me to sacrifice the insulative power just to accommodate a pipe. So this is getting a little close to the edge, and it's probably not how you should do it. Alright, we're through. It's probably not the straightest hole in the world, but what are you going to do? I see light and gravel. That's that. Okay, so this is just a test fit here. We're just making sure this can go through. Yes, it can. Nice fit. That's the slight angle for you. Now, what we have to do is put everything that goes on the inside here, dope it all up, tighten it all together, and then on the outside connect the last piece to this pipe without letting any of this stuff move. It's really crazy. It's because everything's threaded and you have to keep on moving stuff all the same direction to keep it all tight. Next step.
Okay, so this is just my spacer. It's gonna be about that high off the floor, and I'm gonna have Mort hold this in here, and I'm gonna put this in here and twist it with some pliers. And while he's holding, we're gonna make sure that it gets tightened both on the inside and on the outside. That way I don't need a pipe clamp to actually hold the round pipe that I don't have. So people were asking what exactly you needed to do one of these projects. Well, one, you're going to need the hose that goes to your propane tank. This one has the quick release, but if you have the 100-pound one, you can't get this one. You have to get the one with the hose will have a male tip instead of a female like this one. So it goes on the inside threads on the bottle. And then you have the hose right there. And then this is an adapter from the hose tip, which I think it's 1/4 inch to 3/8 that goes into the regulator. You're going to need the regulator. Our main house has a double regulator that you can switch which tank to use from, and then it shows you like a green mark. So when that one that you're watching goes low, it starts pulling from the other one, and that way you can just like switch and not ever be low on propane. because it automatically switches inside if that one is low, but it has like a red thing that you can see. Anyways, and then out here from the out, I don't want to see the rocks, I want to see the pipes. From the out, it comes out as 3/8, so we have a little 3/8 nub with pipe thread on both sides. And then we have this little adapter that is 3/8 pipe thread going in, so the female side, and then it's a male 1/2 inch to go into the black pipe. And then I have a 1/2 inch elbow right here, and that goes into the 1/2 inch pipe that goes into the house. And I'll show you. And inside we have that 1/2 inch pipe that came in from the floor. We have a 1/2 inch elbow, a little 1/2 inch nub. This length will depend on how far deep it is in your wall, and if you have like a 2x4 or a 2x6 on the wall. And then I have another elbow, and in this case we're going down, but inside the house we actually go sideways. I like that better, but here we're not going to have a lot of space, so I went down. There's a little nub, 1/2 inch here, and then this is a gas valve. Make sure that you're getting a gas valve. I know some places you have to have a yellow valve to be gas, but here in the United States, I'm not sure what their color coding is, but this one is a gas valve. And then on the very bottom, I have an adapter that is 1/2 inch pipe coming out of the valve, and it goes into a 3/8 flare. And then this is gonna go on that, and we have a small little tubing, the flex hose or whatever it's called, and then the other side has a 3/8 that will go into our propane heater that has another 3/8 flare on it. Okay, so we have this piece of hardy backer that we're gonna put here. I'm just leaning it against our pipes, and I have a little spacer right there. So I'm gonna mark it. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show this, but just mark it with a pen where I need to cut. Somewhere around here. I don't know how good this pen is marked. There. I need to cut a space for it. And so I'm gonna just line up and cut that. Not the best cut I've ever done, but it fits just fine. Okay. Now, I just need to get a level and put this right about here. I made a mark, so somewhere around here, and then we can just drop the heater in. Okay, so it comes with a little thing that you put on the wall, and so you can hang the heater. Let me focus that. Well, it's not focusing there, but it's a little hanger that you put on the wall, and then you see the tabs coming in here. You take the front of the heater off and you put the heater here, and then there are spacers that you put through here so it fixes it, so it hangs up here and it's held down here. And then I'll put the front back on. Okay, it's on the wall, and now the last thing to do is I already installed this little piece right here, which in my case is a 5/8 center pipe to 5/8 flare, and then we're gonna install the flexible hose, turn it on, and check for gas leaks, the fun part. Okay, so I have soapy water here. I just scoop up some of the soap bubbles and put around each connection. And the bubbles, if it's leaking, the bubbles will get big and pop. And as you can see, these are staying, so they are fine. I did it on all the connections here, under here, and outside too. But it's too cold for me to show you outside right now. So we're good to go. Time to test the heater. Okay, I didn't do this on camera because I need both hands, but you turn it to pilot, you press it down, and you hit the igniter, and the pilot should go on. Then you wait for like 20 seconds, which it has been already. You can let go the top button and switch it on. Something like that. Okay, small technical problem, so you have to go down a little bit to be able to turn it on. And it has a thermostat, so it should... Oh, there we go. Ooh, I feel the heat coming out. Awesome. This is gonna go.
Thanks for your help, Bianca.
You're welcome.
I can't see. Hey, thanks for helping.